Hey everyone, happy 2020. I'm Elvia Rowe, founder of AngelsTeach.com, and I'm so glad that you are here. This is a Wheel of the Year spread, and you can actually use this reading in two different ways. I'm going to be pulling a card for every month of the year, starting of course with January. So you can pay attention to whatever month you feel most guided to, whether it's the current month, whether it's your birthday month or special anniversary or a point in time that you just feel guided to pay attention to. Could even be all of the months if you're so inspired. Or you can, you can do what we often do with the readings that I publish here, and that's to allow your angels to give you a number 1 through 12, and that can be a specific message that you need to hear at this time. So not necessarily associated with the month, but the message that does come through associated with that month's number will be relevant for you. So you can actually reuse this reading as many times as you feel guided to, doing it that way. Without further ado, I'm excited to be back with you guys here. Been very focused on family stuff for the last 7 months or so, but the nest is emptying very shortly here, and looking forward to spending more time with all of you and doing more readings again. So with that, if you feel guided, allow your angels to give you a number 1 through 12 or a specific month, and let's do this. All right, so this is the reading for January, or the number 1 if you chose the number 1. And I've been guided to use for this piece of the reading, the Divine Feminine Oracle by Meggan Watterson. And Goddess Energy, actually I have 3 decks on my desk right now, and open to whatever deck needs to be used for each month. But Goddess Energy is definitely a theme, and I know that in terms of tarot, the Emperor is the kind of lead card, the lead energy for 2020. The numerologically speaking, it's a 4 year, and that associates with the Emperor in the traditional tarot deck. So, it feels like really powerful energies are stepping forward, which I'm sure you are sensing as well. So, just working on the card here. Patience is definitely part of it because it's taking a little while for this card to come forward. And it is the Cosmic Egg. When I first saw it, it looked very much like a feminine type of, to be blunt, feminine anatomy and about giving birth. And I know that I personally am feeling like I'm giving birth to the empty nest. And I think we're all, in our own ways, giving birth to a new way of being in the world. And again, this is a message for anyone who chose the number 1 or also associated with January of 2020. So this is the Cosmic Egg, the Divine Feminine. I hold the universe within me. I am the force of an ever-expanding love. And I feel like that's a mantra for us all for this month, and really throughout the years. What I'm hearing is I am the force of an ever-expanding love. And what I'm really feeling emphasis on is that idea, that notion of ever expanding. And I think what can happen is that we can get stuck in a rut, if you will, of what love is all about and what love means to us and how we practice love day to day. We can do it in a way that becomes habitual. And in many ways that's good. But being conscious of this idea that love is ever expanding, and as we love in ways that are more and more expansive, we literally can change the world. And I was just sharing with a friend this morning that I had a meditation about the year to come, about this new era, if you will. And it was pretty intense, and I'm not going to share all of it, but suffice to say that we are on the brink of some pretty dramatic change. And, firestorms was one of the messages that I kept hearing, and it was not so much about war, but, there are the fires in Australia. We've certainly had a lot of fires here in the U.S., and there's been fires in other parts of the world. We are in a time of change, and it doesn't have to be something that pulls us down. I think we have to stay focused from a higher perspective and be in that space of faith and trust that expansive love can, within some realm of possibility, really change the course of things. Humans are amazing creatures. We are brilliant in so many ways, and we've created, in some respects, this climate change situation in many respects, right? And I also believe that we have the power to change the course of things and to make a difference. And I think that that's really the emphasis for January, which feels like it sets the tone really for the whole year, is one of faith, one that we, by living this mindset of love that keeps growing, we will change things and change how we interact with life, with each other, with spirit, and really most importantly, with ourselves and our own relationship with Source. So just tuning in to see if there's one other piece of this, is that this is unlimited potential, right? This is the egg. This is the source of all life. And that's where we sit right now, and it's a beautiful thing. It can be a little scary sometimes to look out at the world and see all the pain and the suffering, but we have not just the opportunity, but the responsibility to change that. And this is all potential right here. And it lies within not just you, but all of us working together and staying focused on that ever-expanding love. So that was a pretty wild, intense message. Really powerful one, I think, to kick things off for 2020. For February, the deck that I am guided to use, this is Sacred Rebels Oracle by Alana Fairchild, who you may know her. She does beautiful, beautiful work. Very grateful for all that she does in the world. And so let's see what comes forward for February for those of you who chose the number 2. Spirals of Manifestation. It's a little bit of a darker card in this light. I'm going to show you guys in just a moment here. But there's definitely this energy. I'm hearing DNA, I'm seeing feathers, sacred geometry, like this recipe for goodness is really what I'm sensing from this card. There's a little bit of a shadow from the, or a reflection rather, from the laptop here, but you can see this beautiful goddess-like creature. She is receiving, she is manifesting. So very much about the law of attraction here, and reframing the law of attraction just a little bit because, well, you guys are wise beings, so you probably already know this, but law of attraction needs to be focused on what the soul is looking to manifest and not the ego. So really aligning with guidance and using that guidance to set your GPS on what it is that you're choosing to manifest. And such an important distinction in terms of the whole law of attraction thing, because what we focus on does expand, and what we put out there comes back to us, but not necessarily in the way that the ego wants to believe that it will. We have to be open to receive in the way that sources, our angels, are looking to create on our behalf. So I'm hearing keep your eye on the ball for those of you who chose February or number 2, or you're just listening to this sequentially. Keep your eye on the ball. That's really the message for February. It's a lot about focus, keeping your thoughts on the higher plane, and understanding that you are being called, invited to create in alignment with the soul. So if the ego is trying to sneak in here and get the better of you, just level up your mindset and bring yourself back to center using all the tools that you have at your disposal. Breath, meditation, yoga, Reiki, whatever it is that works best for you. February is probably a month where you're going to need to focus a little bit more on keeping the ego at bay. But you can do it, and you have your angels to help. So for March and the number 3, we are back to the My goodness. Really, Elvia. Sorry. The first deck that we used, which I'm having a brain cramp, The Divine Feminine by Meggan Watterson. We are back to this deck. So let's see what's come forward for those of you paying attention to March or receive the number 3. And the card coming forward is coming forward pretty easily, pretty swiftly. And it is, I am not going to pronounce this correctly, and I have not seen this card before. Mythical, the Warrior Saint. I am a warrior of love. My devotion attracts resources and support. So feel free in the comments to correct my pronunciation of this, and I can't really stop and look up the correct pronunciation, so my apologies, but I am assuming it's Mythical. And the message here, she has her sword raised and she's very feminine, and this is about fighting like a girl is what I'm hearing, fighting like a woman. You know, the sword is raised and there's this determination to stand strong, to insist on your boundaries, to insist on your self-worth, to insist on your truth, who you are as a divine being, and not let that go, but do it in this way that is not necessarily aggressive or forceful, but just determined. And yep, this is me. I'm strong. I'm in my truth. This is me. Insistent. That's another word that's coming forward right now. But in this beautiful, feminine, very, very powerful, and also a little bit gentle way. You know, she does have this sort of gentle spirit to her. And yet, she's also very strong. Which I just want to say something quickly about that, because you know, the ego can get us into this place where you can't be strong and gentle at the same time. You can't be happy and sad at the same time. There's sort of this binary way that we tend to believe sometimes. And, you know, I think one of the little whispers for March in the number 3 is that, you know, all of these things, you know, we have this whole universe living inside of us. All of these things live together. So yes, you can be gentle and strong and powerful and feminine and beautiful and magnificent and fierce. So stand up for your truth. That's March, number 3. All right, so for April, the number 4, I have been guided to use the Mythical Goddess Tarot, which I confess I really don't know this deck very well. Author is Sage Holloway and artist is Katherine Skaggs. So again, this is for April and those of you who chose the number 4. Let's see what comes forward. Again, like March, it's coming forward pretty swiftly. I was paying attention to how I picked the card, whether it was upright or reversed, and it's actually upright. And it is wind, which is the air element, number 10, illusion. And again, I don't know this deck, so I'm just going to read this. This is a little bit different from traditional tarot as well. So I'm just going to read this like an angel card. And what I'm hearing is the sky is falling, the sky is falling. This is all about mindset and paying attention to how you're looking at things. You know, we were just talking recently about how you can look at a situation and feel like the victim of things happening to you. In fact, I was just having this conversation recently with a friend who she was given a desk at work and it seemed like it was kind of a crappy location, and then she reframed it and thought, you know, so this isn't happening to me that I got this crappy desk. How could it be happening for me? And she started to realize all these really incredible benefits of why she was given this desk by God and the angels and the universe. And it was like, oh, of course, this is where I need to be. And that's what the essence of this card is about, is remembering that everything happening in your life, as you look at it from this perspective of it's happening for me instead of to me, totally shifts and reframes anything that's happening in your world. And it doesn't mean that difficult things aren't happening, but what it does do is help you to understand better the love reasons why, as opposed to living in the fear-based reasons of victimhood. So, the sun's out, there's this tiny little rain cloud. You may have your galoshes and your big umbrella and not even realize that the sun is there, but the sun is there. So this is also about gratitude and making sure that you're focused on the things that are good in your life. So for May, the number 5, we are back to the Sacred Rebels Oracle by Alana Fairchild. And let's see what's going to come forward for May and the number 5. And I've missed you guys. I want you to know that. I've been receiving some lovely comments through Angels Teach and through different social media places and even some emails. And, I've missed being with you guys. So look forward to that resuming when it's divine time. This last card in the deck is actually the one that's coming forward. So we'll see if that's relevant here. Wow. I did shuffle too. It's the same card. Same card that came forward for February. And this is for May. Interesting. I did shuffle too. Gotta love that. All right, so there's added emphasis on this. And a slightly different message is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing circles of wisdom, circles of influence. So, and this is bringing actually quite a bit of emotion to me right now. So this is again May and the number 5. This is about, related to manifestation, the community, the circles of influence, what you're paying attention to. My sense is that there's even more going on in the world come May, and we are being called to even more closely guard our boundaries, our space with love, and to insist on hanging with people that help us to stay focused on that higher path, help us to stay focused on those love-based intentions and staying in that space of things are happening for me and not to me. In some senses, we are a society that is addicted to victimhood, and I think we light workers, you included, are here to help us break free from that and really live in the higher space. So again, keeping your eye on the higher plateau, but this is a month where you may be called to cut some ties. Or if you chose number 5, this may be a call for you to cut some ties and make sure that you really are hanging out either online or in person with people who really support who you are, the truth of who you are, and really encourage you with all the gifts that you have to bring to the world. Not such an easy message, but a really necessary one. So know how loved and how your angels want to help you with this. June, and we are back to the Mythical Goddess Tarot, Sage Holloway and Katherine Skaggs. So this is for June, or those of you who chose the number 6. All right. And in tarot, you may know, some people say tarot. I say tarot. Potato. And this card's taking a while to come forward, so patience. It does matter with tarot whether the card is reversed or not. And again, it's the last card in the deck. This is interesting. Okay, so it is upright. Interesting. Fire sign, fire card, and dragons. Conflict is the number. And 5 in the Mayan system that Peter and I follow, 5 is about diversity, effort, and love. And it feels like I'm hearing more inner conflict. I'm recording this obviously in January. 6 months from now, will there be some conflict in the world at large? There always is. It's a matter of scale. But this is about recognizing that the true conflict that needs to be addressed is the conflict that lies within. So for the month of June, and for those of you who chose the number 6, the invitation is to really scour your inner landscape and look for those influences that are asking for healing. What is it in you that needs to be resolved? Where is that conflict? When we have people in our lives, and it's not just people, it could be governments or jobs or whatever, that create that inner, that inner conflict and desire to fight and be the fire. It's pretty much always an opportunity for us to learn and to grow and to heal. And that's what the message is for June, is to be, I'm hearing conscientious. It's sort of the start of the summer in the Northern Hemisphere, so this is a little bit of a heavier message as we enter into summer here in the Northern Hemisphere. And yet I'm also reminded of the firestorms message that I got in my meditation late December, just a little bit ago here. So again, what is that inner conflict that we need to, I look at one of the dragons, actually several of the dragons breathing fire, to release, to breathe out, to let go, that inner anger, and to resolve and to bring to a place of peace. I'm just tuning in to see if there's anything more, and I'm hearing not at this time. Just be vigilant about your healing and any responsibility you need to take for it. So we are on July, the number 7, and I didn't think I was going to keep going, but I am. I'm on a roll here, so let's do it. Back to the Sacred Rebels deck, Alana Fairchild, and let's see what comes forward for July for you number 7 folks. And cheers to those of you in the Southern Hemisphere. You are now in winter. I've often thought it'd be kind of fun to just travel between the hemispheres and experience summer, twice. Wow, the last card in the deck again. That's 3 times that's happened. They're not telling me why just yet, so we'll see. Seriously. Wow, I'm kind of speechless. And I did shuffle. I did. Again. That's crazy. So, February, May, July. Same card. I have 3 different decks on my desk with however many cards there are here. And this card has come forward 3 times. I think there's a theme here. You feeling it? Spirals of manifestation. So let's see what's different here. It's really popping for me this time. And I saw it before, but it's really like screaming in neon right now, are those angel feathers. I don't know if you can see them right there, but there are 3 different angel feathers. And they're this beautiful hue of blue. And this hue of blue represents throat, third eye, sort of in between those, or both of those really. And I'm hearing the guardians. So this is a little bit of protective energy. I'm feeling a little bit of protection from the angels, a need for protection. And I think it's really a reminder to ask your angels for their assistance, not just for their guidance. I want to say guidance, but I'm hearing ask them for their assistance, ask them for their help. So of course, always their guidance and always for their help. So this is, I'm hearing like a public service announcement. So for those of you who chose number 7 or here in July, we're going to be called and encouraged to really ask our angels to be involved and to help us with not just the manifestation process, but just life. right? As we're engaged in life. So for August, Divine Feminine Oracle. And this is Meggan Watterson, I believe. Yes, I'm trusting that. And see, I am shuffling if we get repeat cards here again. So this is for those of you who chose the number 8 or want a reading on August for 2020. Not the last card, whoops, but the second to last is the one that's stepping forward for this. And it is Kadiya, the mother of believers. Oh, I love that. Oh, look how certain she is with her hands on her hips. How beautiful. She's just beckoning, and she's a mother that's like, yeah, I'm here. I'm going to mother you. I'm going to be your mother. That's beautiful. And I'm noticing the halos that she has. See that? Around her. She has these beautiful, so very much of an angel influence that's with her. And, you look at the future in this card, and it's very bright. There is this, it's going to look on the opposite side, but this is the side that represents the future. And it's in the crux of her arm, and it really is about staying focused and believing and knowing that all is in divine order. She is really lovely. I am spiritually and financially abundant. I provide heaven and earth for myself. That is the key to this reading. I provide heaven and earth for myself. So this is about believing in yourself, believing in the humanity, believing in the world at large, believing that everything is in divine order. All really hard things to do at times, and for a lot of people all the time. But that's what the message is for August. A need to do that. For the number 8, a need to do that. To believe in yourself no matter what. To believe in humanity no matter what. To believe in the future no matter what. And to trust that all is in divine order. And this beautiful Mother Goddess is helping us to achieve that. We are back to the Sacred Rebels deck for September, the number 9. And see, I'm shuffling again. I actually went back and looked at the video clip I had done for those because I was like, I did shuffle, right? And I did. It's just crazy. All right. So, card coming forward for those of you who chose number 9 or are looking for a reading on September 2020. It's not the last card in the deck. It is the Power of Attraction. Very related conversation, isn't it? Spirals of manifestation and the power of attraction. And there's a lot about divine feminine, divine masculine in this, and it's where it all comes together. Yeah. So, conversation about the divine feminine really can't happen without also having a conversation about the divine masculine, at least not in its entirety, because you really can't separate them. And I've always felt like it was dishonorable almost to put the divine feminine up on a pedestal and not also recognize a little sort of technical glitch there with the AV there that it cut out, and of course I always pay attention. It happened when I was talking about putting the divine masculine on a pedestal, and my computer just froze. As you saw, video went dark. And the message in that is that it can feel like a dark thing for a lot of people to recognize and to honor the divine masculine. There's a lot of damage that has happened around the whole topic of, or the whole area of masculinity, what it means to be a man, what it means to be a boy, what it means to be a woman. Like, that's a very charged, loaded conversation, as I'm sure most of you are aware. And it can feel like a dark conversation. A lot of dark things have happened. And yet when we pause and really strive to look at it from the perspective of compassion and forgiveness and understanding. All religions talk about forgiving our enemies. All religions talk about the essential need for forgiveness. And I think the only way that we can get to this point where we are truly honoring one another is to go through the darkness, to persevere and recognize that everyone has their own story, everyone has their own wounds, and everyone has their own relationship with God. And so this is about letting go of those wounds as best you can and really striving to work on your relationship with Source directly. And this message feels like it's wandering around a little bit. So I'm having this side conversation with my angels about, so is this really the right path? And I am hearing that it is, yes. So I want to bring it back to center, and it's about healing, and it's about healing both the divine feminine and the divine masculine. You can't do one without the other. So we have to be focused on the men in our world. And this, we're in the United States, we're looking towards election season here. We're already in it, really. And the more that we can view things from that space of faith with compassion and open dialogue, we're not going to create change if we can't have healthy, good conversations. We may not agree. If you and I were to have a conversation about politics, we might not agree. But if we can have healthy, open dialogue and really listen to one another and really hear what the other person is saying, and I'm not going down the political path, but I'm just saying, we need to be in that space of honoring one another and listening to each other and allowing the space for the divine feminine and the divine masculine to really have a place in our world. Because I'm not sure that we always do that. So for those of you who chose the number 9, which is a feminine number, and are looking for September, I think that this is really about allowing and creating the space for and room for both the divine feminine and the divine masculine. And allowing that and really listening. It's kind of a multi-layered reading, a little more involved this month, but feels like it's more complicated is the word in my head month, September. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. Last little tidbit here, and I know this is a little longer, but this looks like beehive. So we have to work together. Like bees do, we have to work together. It's the only way we're going to create change that's sustainable and is the foundation of the world that we're wanting to create here. October, number 10. We are back to the Divine Feminine Oracle. I don't know why I have to look at the lid every time. The Divine Feminine Oracle. All right, so for those of you who chose number 10, we're looking for a reading for October. Sekhmet, the Red Lady, who is a lion. Already I'm hearing bold. This is October. It's about being bold, but being bold in alignment. There's so much about alignment in this area of the card. The head is centered in the what looks like a halo. I don't know that that's what it is, but that's what it feels like. Behind it is the sun. It's just all about being bold in alignment, being bold with your guidance. And how I want to not reframe that, but how I want to interpret that is, be bold with insisting on your guidance. So if the people around you aren't okay with you or necessarily supportive of you following your guidance, be bold. This is a month not to cower. This is a month to really step forward and to be that courageous spirit that you are. Because we all have that within us. Some have had it sort of flushed out of us, but this is a month where we're really all called to be bold in the name of love. For November, we are back to the Mythical Goddess Tarot. This is also the number 11. And I'm being guided to share that in 11 in the Mayan again, the Mayan teachings that Peter and I follow is about separation and sharing. It's a power number, so you think about 1, right? It's new beginnings, it's alignment. It's also in the Mayan culture about separation and sharing. So, it's one number, they're separated, but they also come together. So for whatever reason, some of you, I guess, needed to hear that. All right, so the card is and it is upright. It's another fire sign. It is 10, self-destruction. An interesting card to come forward, given that it is election month, presidential election for 2020. So self-destruction. We can't create change without burning down certain structures, certain infrastructures, certain ways of being. And I'm reminded of the goddess Kali, who is one of my favorite goddess energies to work with, because she reminds us that, when we have a glass, right, if it's full up to here, we can't put any more in until we pour some out. We can't create anew until we let go, in Kali terms, destroy, what's there and taking up the space. We need to let go. We need to release. We need to clear the path, if you will, in order to walk forward. And that's what I'm hearing very strongly about November, is that we are clearing the path. And that's not always easy. And it's necessary. So this is, it doesn't feel to me like self-destruction necessarily. Some of you may feel like this is a message on a personal level, and I think it is for some of you. But looking at it collectively, this is about changing the infrastructure. There's a lot, especially in the US, that needs to change, that's broken and not working. And that's what this month is about clearing that path and laying the groundwork for things to change in a way that has been screaming to change for a long time now. So I'm just tuning in to see if there's anything more. It might be scary. There's a decent chance that it's going to be scary. And yet, this message is coming through from the angels. And it's a reminder, it's coming through from the angels. Even though this is tarot, I'm still doing this as an angel reading. And there's a lot of light in the background of this card. And it's a reminder that your angels are always there, and we have to lean into our faith in times like this. We have to, because faith is the only path through. It's the only thing that will come in after we clear the path, and then it's faith that brings in the goodness that takes the space that is cleared. I'm just tuning in. Last little bit here is this circle right here. It's just stay focused. Stay focused on faith. We are closing out the year with the Divine Feminine Oracle. This is for December, the number 12. And let's see what beautiful goddess comes forward for us. You saw me shuffle, right? You did. I saw me shuffle. You saw me shuffle. Yeah. The Cosmic Egg. Same card we started the year off with in January. This is crazy, people. I'll probably put in the comments, I'm going to calculate how many cards total are here between these 3 decks that I'm using, because it's over 200, I think. Maybe not. Anyway, it's a lot. So the chances of cards repeating is crazy. And divine, right? Always divine. So the Cosmic Egg for 12 for December, new beginnings is what I'm hearing. It's a time where, I'm hearing we are most fertile, which I need a little clarification on that from my angel friends. Curious what they mean specifically about that. It's a time where, it's the winter solstice here in the northern hemisphere, so I know for our family personally and for our close friends, we look at that as the new year, is when the sun starts to travel back north again and grow in light. And I think really that's the message here, is that we're most fertile when we work with the cycles of the sun and the moon and the planets, and really being in that space of intention, because December is a time where we're looking at the new year, we're looking at new beginnings, we're looking at, we're reflecting on what has happened in the last 12 months, and we're beginning to think about what we want to do differently in the months to come. And we're reminded of infinite potential. And that's what this egg is all about, is infinite potential. And I don't remember what it said, but I'm on the words on the card, but I'm hearing my angels friends say that there's one line in particular that they really want me to emphasize. Oh, yeah. I hold the universe within me. I am the force of an ever-expanding love. So if I had to summarize this whole year in one affirmation, we started it with this card, we're closing it with this card. I want you to really feel these words. I am the force of an ever-expanding love. No matter what has happened this year, you are a force of ever-expanding love. And the more that you can tap into that, the more that we can all tap into that, the more we create that path that's been cleared with things that are beautiful: compassion, grace, understanding, tolerance, love. It's really a lovely way to close out this reading. The Cosmic Egg. Well, those were some pretty amazing cards, don't you think? And 2 repeats, 1 3 times. Crazy. It just, I don't know about you, but it just makes me remember, even I forget a little bit sometimes, how closely guided we are, how deeply loved we are by the universe, by Source, by our angels. And when we listen, we are just so protected, and it feels like a year that we really need to remember that. So I trust that you got all that you needed from this reading. Do come back and listen again as you are guided to see if there's another message that needs to come through for you personally. And with that, I wish you so much love and look forward to seeing you around Angels Teach Land again very soon. Many blessings. Be well.